Hello and welcome back to another one of my FPL videos. I of course am the FPL Trade, and in this video I'm going to be showing you my team selection ahead of Game Week 12 after a week of absolute pure carnage in Game Week 11. The amount of injuries and suspensions, should say, there were, it's absolutely crazy. Thankfully, my team looks like to have gotten away with it. Now I am recording this before the Aston Villa game, so I still don't know yet if Matty Cash is going to be fit for the weekend. I'm hoping he is. It doesn't look like it was too serious from the sounds of it. So fingers crossed he is. But that is my only concern I've got before doing this video. But apart from that, I'm looking fine. But yeah, before I go obviously through the team for Game Week 12, we're going to look back on Game Week 11 and talk about what possible transfers I'm thinking about doing ahead of the game week. Now, as you can see on screen, I scored 35 points in total. Now, obviously, that's not a lot. It sounds terrible, but compared to most people, it was pretty decent, to be fair. So, obviously, I got a green arrow, which is absolutely amazing. 35 points, and I got a green arrow. If you told me at the start of the season I was going to get 35 points in one game week and come our way with a green arrow, I wouldn't believe you. So, I'm now in the top 100k, which is brilliant. It's the highest I've been this season. But this is game week 12 coming up. And every time before the international break, that game week before, I seem to always get a massive red arrow. So this week coming up, I have no confidence at all. But thankfully, game week 11 turned out alright. So we'll start off with a goalkeeper. Areola got 1 point. Terrible yet again. Conceded 3 goals against Brentford. Got obviously that bonus point, which is gave me 1 point, but he still earned more than Turner, who's now officially being dropped by Nottingham Forest. Can't say I didn't see it coming because he's been awful for the last few game weeks, so no shock there. But yeah, just 1 point from a goalkeeper. This goalkeeper situation this season has been diabolical for me, not going to lie. In defence, Simakash got me 1 point. Now, I can't be too disappointed with it because I replaced him the other week with Pedro Porro, who actually came away with 0 points. So, I actually gained a point. If I decided to keep Pedro Porro, I would have lost out. So, I've got to be happy with that. I was shocked though, I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect Simakash to be on the bench, obviously, against Luton. The only thing I was kind of happy with is they actually conceded Liverpool. So, anybody else who had, let's say, Trent or Van Dijk didn't get a clean sheet. So, kind of got away with that one there. So, I just have to take the point. It would have been nice if he got an assist when he came on, but that didn't happen. Kieran Trippier, I mean, great performance against Arsenal. Newcastle defended really well there. Again, clean sheet. Comes away with a couple of bonus points. I mean, I can't complain. I'm so glad I kept him, put it that way. I could have took him out on the wild card. I decided to stick with him, despite him being pricey, and I could put my money elsewhere and possibly get like a salary in my team. I didn't do that. I kept him, and he's doing brilliant for me, despite blanking the week before. Great performance this week. He's one of the main factors why I've got a green arrow, so happy with that. And then Matty Cash, an absolutely disappointing performance from Aston Villa as a whole. Lost 2-0. The guy goes off injured. 0 points for him. Disappointing there. Yeah, nothing more to say about that. Hopefully he'll be fit for game week 12 though. And obviously in the fence there, I've got Dan Burn. Went off injured. He's now out for a long time. Somebody I think about taking out my team, which is disappointing. Because obviously he could have came away. Well, it doesn't matter to be honest. He was on my bench anyway. So, yeah, 1 point from him and then 1 point from Taylor, which is no surprise there. In my midfield, Douglas Luiz, disappointing. Like I said with Matty Cash, Aston Villa were just disappointing against Forest. Forest looked pretty comfortable, to be fair. So, just 2 points from him. But Bruno Fernandes, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. One of the 2 players, so obviously Kieran Trippier and Fernandes, are the only reason why I have a green arrow this week. I'm particularly happy with Bruno Fernandes because I've kept the faith in him. I could have got rid of him, but I said to myself, look, Man United have got 3 good fixtures coming up now. They've got Fulham away, which they've just won, and he's obviously just scored in that game against. They've now obviously got Luton coming up, and then they've got Everton. Hopefully, he's 1 yellow card away from suspension, so hopefully he keeps himself clean in this Luton game coming up. like he did in the Fulham game, which is a great last minute goal as well. So I was so relieved with that. So hopefully he can keep his nose clean and score again in the Luton game. But yeah, really happy with those 11 points there. Goal, clean sheet, obviously, and the bonus points to go with it. Brilliant. Sloboslaya, however you say his name, not so great. So Liverpool were disappointing to say the least. I had one free transfer for this game week, and obviously Luis Diaz having his problems, I didn't think I was going to see him on the pitch anytime soon. So I wanted a Liverpool player for that game. Turns out I didn't need to. But I decided to make the transfer. I couldn't obviously afford Jota and I couldn't afford Salah, so I went with Sloboslaya. He's a 90-minute man for Liverpool, and I thought I may as well go for him. Well, he went off quite early in the game. I mean, thankfully it was past 60 minutes, so I got the extra point and I got the clean sheet point. So I did actually come away with 3 points from him. But Luis Diaz came on and he scored a goal. So I could have saved a transfer, kept Diaz, and has 3 extra points. But that weren't the case. And that's just FPL for you. He just loves to get mugged off. So really disappointed. He's not a long-term pick. He's somebody I'm already looking at getting rid of personally. So yeah, that was majorly disappointing. Son, I mean, the guy was inches, literally inches away from being onside for scoring, because he obviously got that goal disallowed against Chelsea. He then at the end of the game was inches away from scoring an equaliser. Really frustrating that was. It was a shame. Hopefully he could do better in the next game. But yeah, slightly disappointing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened with Spurs. They had a great start to that game. And they just what was the defence doing? What was Romero and Doggy doing? Honestly, they just completely lost their heads. And they got the injuries to Madison and Van der Ven. It was an absolute diabolical night in the end for Spurs. But yeah, just 2 points for Son. And same with Saka. Weren't in the game at all, which is a concern. They look completely lost without Odegaard in that attack. So that is a slight worry to have. How long is Odegaard going to be out for? Because Newcastle, they completely destroyed Saka and Martinelli on those wings. They didn't really produce anything at all. Massively disappointed there. But I will say, I did take Saka out the other week for Madison. Obviously, they both got 6 points last week. But this week, he got 1 more point than Madison. So far, the transfer's working out alright for me. Just about. But yeah, just disappointing overall. But yeah, strikers, both of them blanked. I mean, Erling Haaland, how's your luck, eh? 6-1 they beat Bournemouth. 6-1. Now, if you're not watching the game and you're busy and you didn't see it till after the game, you look on your phone, you're thinking, oh, lovely, how many goals has he got? Goes off half-time injured. Unbelievable. 1 point. 1 stinking point. Unbelievable. Luckily, everybody else owns him. And Salah also blanked. So, really got away with one there, didn't we? But yeah, he played obviously last night for Man City, so it looks like he's going to be fine for game week 12. But weren't expecting that blank at all from Haaland. And with Ollie Watkins, I've mentioned it before, obviously, Louise and Cash. Disappointing overall for Aston Villa. Just 2 points there. So yeah, unfortunately, hopefully he can do better. And then lastly, Solanke got a goal disallowed actually against Man City. He was just offside. Imagine if he scored that and it counted. That would have really teed me off, because I did say last week there was no chance he was going to score. And when I saw it came up that he scored, I was begging that got disallowed. Thankfully it did. I didn't get looked like an idiot. But yeah, overall I've got to be happy. It may have been a low scoring week, but a green arrow is a green arrow. Hopefully I can keep this up. Now then, I'm going to be talking about 2 transfers I'm possibly looking at making. Obviously, that would mean a -4. I don't have to make a -4. I can just make one of these 2 transfers. But we'll talk about the first one anyway. So it's Dan Burn out. For obvious reasons, he's out long term now. So he is somebody I'm going to have to be taken out of my team soon. Whether it's game week 12, I'm not so sure yet. I can obviously hold off when I want to do it. But for now, I'm looking at taking him out, possibly anyway, for Tyree Mitchell. Now, obviously, it looks knee-jerk because Mitchell's just scored a goal and kept a clean sheet, got 3 bonus points. But I have been banging on a couple of weeks ago about bringing him in. Now, the chance of him scoring again is slim. I think that was his second ever goal for Crystal Palace, so I'm not doing it on the basis he's going to get me a goal or an assist. I'm doing this purely the fact, yes, obviously, Burns out for long term, but it's Crystal Palace defensively under Roy Hodgson are really good. And the fixtures coming up for Crystal Palace are ace. Everton at home, Luton away, West Ham's going to be tough. But then 15, it's obviously Bournemouth at home. Now, I've spoken before in the past about game week 13 being a bit dodgy for some fixtures. For example, Spurs are playing Villa, so if you got 3 of each of them, that's 6 players in a tough game. Whereas obviously Crystal Palace can have Luton away. Now obviously Luton are looking decent at home, to be fair to them, but I fancy that being a 0-0 game. And I do think he'll keep a clean sheet. Well, there's a good chance keeping 3 clean sheets out of 4 games here, so that's why I'm thinking about bringing in Mitchell for Dan Burn. So my other transfer I'm thinking about here, now this is one I so regret doing now. So Sloboslaya, probably said it wrong. Now I brought him in midweek because I didn't think Diaz was going to play. Now I saw Diaz was going to drop in price and he was going up in price, so I didn't want to lose out on 0.2 million because I was thinking about doing the transfer at the end of the week. What a waste of time this was, because obviously Diaz scored. Already I want to take him out because he's got Brentford at home and Man City away in game weeks 12 and 13. They're not nice fixtures, I'm not going to lie. They're not great. So realistically, I want to take him out because he's not an attacking player anyway. I know he's got a fair few assists this season, but I want to bring in either Kudos, who I've not gone here now, or Joe Bowen, because I can actually afford either one of them. And obviously Joe Bowen is the better option, who has Forest at home, Burnley away, and Crystal Palace at home. They're 3 good fixtures there for West Ham. I think he can score in all 3 of those games, to be honest. So that's why I want to bring him in. He's more attacking. He's got better fixtures. It's kind of a no-brainer. I can afford him as well, so I don't have to make 2 transfers for this transfer. I've got money in the bank to do this transfer, so that's why I'm looking at bringing in Jarrod Bowen. So then, let's take a look at my team and how it is looking for game week 12 and look at the possibility of the transfer I'm thinking about doing for this game week now. I am actually leaning for my first -4 hit this season. I haven't done it yet. I haven't made any transfers, but I've put 1 transfer in this team. The one I'm favouring so far ahead of this game week, but we'll talk about when you see it. So we'll talk about my goalkeeper situation first. Now, it's fairly obvious now that I'm going to go for Areola ahead of Turner. Turner is no longer the #1 goalkeeper. So obviously, it's an easy decision to make. Areola is going to be my goalkeeper for this game week. He does have Nottingham Forest as well at home, so it is actually the better fixture. Now, in terms of making a transfer for Turner, I have no plans to do that at all, because there's no £4 million goalkeeper that actually starts in the Premier League. So if I was to bring a new goalkeeper in, that would mean I need to free up money to bring a goalkeeper in, and I can't be bothered. I don't think I'll make a goalkeeping change now until my next wildcard. So with my defenders then, it's a back 3 again, and as you can see, I have made a change in it. Now, I've not actually done it officially on my team. I'm just saying this is my preferred option, just because out of the 2 players I talked about getting rid of my team earlier, Dan Burn is actually the one who's going to be out injured for some time, so I may as well possibly make that transfer now. Tyreek Mitchell is at home as well against Everton, a team that struggles to score, whereas Crystal Palace, they're pretty solid at the back. Now obviously West Ham are also at home. It is against Nottingham Forest, a team they did struggle against last season, so it is a tough fixture. But don't be surprised if obviously Bowen scores in that game, so that's why I am tempted to do the -4 hit. But for now, I probably lean towards just making 1 transfer, and that would be obviously taking out Dan Burn for Mitchell. I've also got Matty Cash. Like I said previous times in this video, I'm recording this before the Aston Villa game, which was yesterday. So I don't know as of yet what happened in the game, but I'm hoping he did play in the game and he was fine, because he's got Fulham at home, and I do think he'll keep a clean sheet in that game, providing he plays. So that's 2 clean sheets I can see there. And my third option is obviously Kieran Trippier, Bournemouth away, which I do think is a tougher fixture of the 3 because they're away from home. And I can kind of see my luck being Solanke scores in that game and Trippier loses a clean sheet. But to be fair, Newcastle are decent, but they've got a lot of injuries. Obviously, Bruno Guimaraes is suspended as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how Newcastle get on. We don't know if Wilson's going to be fit either for that game. But hopefully they do alright in the game. So that means I've benched Tsimikas. This is purely because I was actually shocked that he was benched against Luton. They've now got Brentford at home, which is a tough fixture to be fair. Brentford can score in that game, so I feel like Mitchell's a better option for Tsimikas. And then obviously Charlie Taylor's got Arsenal away where there's no chance he's going to be starting for me at all. So then with my midfield, it's the same 5-man midfield as last week. Obviously, I still haven't officially decided what to do with my transfer, so I can still bring in Bowen for Slavazaya because obviously he's much more attacking. And obviously he's not exactly the most attacking, and Brentford at home is a tough fixture. But it's not confirmed yet what I decide to do on that one as of yet. But obviously, Liverpool's fixture in 13's also tough. So that might push me towards a -4 hit. I've not yet decided on that one. But I've also got Douglas Luiz, who's not exactly the most attacking player as well. Obviously, he's on penalties, which is why I brought him in. And he was a short-term punt. So he's lasted longer than I expected due to the fact that some players in my team have had issues. Fulham at home, though, is a nice fixture, and I'm kind of hoping he gets a better return than he did last week. But I've got to think of myself as fortunate to get the returns I've got from him so far, if I'm being honest. Because like I said, he's not exactly the most attacking midfielder. Whereas Saka, on the other hand, is. And with Burnley at home, I do fully expect him to score goals in this game. And if I'm being honest, I'm expecting double-digit figures from Saka in this game week. Burnley at home at the Emirates, I'm expecting quite a few goals in this game. I think Arsenal will comfortably come out on top. Son, I mean, this will be an interesting game, Spurs one against Wolves. Obviously, we don't know if Maddison's going to be fit for that game yet. They've got a lot of issues at the back. I mean, it doesn't matter if Spurs lose the game. What matters most is can they create and set Son up. I mean, to be fair, that Brennan Johnson looked like he was linking up well with Son, to be fair. Even with Maddison being injured, I think I'll be confident he can do well there. Obviously, he went off early because of the sending off in that game with Moreira. So, we'll have to see. I am confident he can score in that game, though, to be fair. He looked good against Chelsea. I have no problems keeping Son in my team, even with all these problems. And then finally, Bruno Fernandes, Luton at home. Hopefully, no yellow card and a few goals will be nice there. Luton at home's a great fixture for him. The fact that it's at Old Trafford as well, it's a wider pitch than the one that Luton play on. So I'm hoping that Man United can really go at them and score a fair few goals there. Now I know I'm being greedy, hoping for double-digit figures for Fernandes as well, but this is the reason why I kept him in my team. I wanted him in for the Fulham, Luton, Everton game. He's already smashed it in the Fulham game. Hopefully he can do the same for the Luton game. He's on penalties, so there's a good chance as well. United could get a penalty and score there as well. So fingers crossed he does it again, because if he does, he's now a differential and my rank will just go further up in the league. So fingers crossed this one works out. Confidence-wise, it's 50-50 in my midfield, to be fair. I think the Saka, Son, Fernandes ones, they're the guys that I've got to hope smash it in this game week. So that leaves then my strikers. Same front two as last week. So obviously Slanky's going to be sitting on my bench again. I feel like, yes, he's at home, but Newcastle is a tough fixture for them. And I feel like my midfielders have better fixtures than he does. So that's why he sits on my bench. Obviously, Erling Haaland's got Chelsea away. That is a tough fixture, to be fair. But, I mean, all that being said, I think Spurs did smash them before, obviously, the sending-offs that they received. So I have no problems captaining Erling Haaland for Chelsea away. Whether I'll go through with it, I don't know, because it's a tough week for me to who to captain. Because Fernandes, Luton at home, Saka's got Burnley at home. It's a real tough one to go for. I might just edge going for Haaland just because Man City are that good. But yeah, Chelsea away, it is going to be a tougher fixture, but I'm not surprised if he comes away with a few goals there. And then Watkins, I'm hoping for a better return than it was against Forest. I mean, it is going to be at Villa Park. Fulham at home. I mean, I've got to say, I reckon Villa will win this game 3-0, to be honest. Hopefully, he gets another hat-trick. That'll work out a treat. So, overall, my team looks pretty decent, to be fair. Especially as well if I go through with, particularly, maybe even the -4 hit, and go for Bowen and Mitchell. But even with just having Mitchell in my team, it looked quite nice, to be fair. And I'm hoping, for God's sake, I'm really hoping, before the international break, I get a green arrow. Because every time, man, I don't know what it is, but I get a red arrow and I have to sit there for 2 weeks looking at a red arrow. But fingers crossed the team works out. Let me know what you think of this team. What transfers you think I should be making. Or let me know what your teams are. Please don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you all on the next one.